work our way down. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to cover the gun. They say if your Picatinny rail isn't perfectly covered, you're easily discoverable. So there are a lot of different schools of thought on how to paint your rifle.
Like what?
You know, the different ones. So, but I wanted to bring you my school of thought on how to actually paint your rifle, or why you would paint such a beautiful tool of death and destruction. So today on Painting with Tacticon, that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take this beautiful little rifle, we're gonna get it all taped up and ready to go. I'm gonna show you how to paint this bad boy and maybe talk about why you would want to paint this bad boy. Come on over to the painting table, we'll get started. The things required for actually painting your rifle. 1, a rifle, if that wasn't clear from the start. 2, I suggest getting some painter's tape or some masking tape. And 3, the paint itself. Today we are going to use a lovely combination of FDE and OD Green. Here's what we're gonna do to kind of set up your rifle and get it prepped for painting. First, I like to put a magazine actually in the firearm. This magazine is empty and the firearm is clear. The magazine itself actually will block off the mag well, so that way I'm not gonna get any paint in the important bits. There is some openings on this rifle, so I am going to tape some of this off. We're gonna tape off the lenses here and some of the important bits. You wanna get these little areas so that way paint doesn't slip into the important bits. Just that way you don't get a gunked up rifle and, you know, when you need your rifle the most, it's not gonna fail on you. Piece of tape or 2 on there, because you know what? I love the company that I work for. So guys, as you can see, we're all taped up. The important bits are taped off. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. If you want to, you can make it perfect and pretty, that's fine. I don't care that much. My school of thought on why I want to paint my rifle is because I want it to blend in with my environment. As you can see out here in the wilds, it gets pretty dirty. It gets pretty dusty, but right now it's green and lush, but within 30 minutes it will be a desert. What different ways can you actually paint your rifle and why? Well, you have what I like to call the cost-efficient method, which is some spray paint. It's what I use to paint my rifles because I mess my rifles up. I don't intentionally mess them up, it's just what happens because I'm kind of a klutz sometimes, and I like to throw my rifles in the back of my car with all of them together. Whatever. But you can Cerakote, you can have it professionally done, you can have, you know, Brownell's Alumahide, you can do whatever floats your boat. This is just the most cost-efficient method for what I like to do. So why do I want to actually paint my rifle? Why do you want your pretty black gun to, you know, match the dirt, look like it's covered in mud? Because you never know when your country is going to be invaded. And that's a crazy reality we all have to face now, isn't it? But regardless of that, we always like to be prepared for scenarios that are kind of ridiculous. Just because it is a ridiculous scenario doesn't mean you can't accept that it might happen or that you should prepare for it. It's up to you what you want to do. This is just what I do and what I like to do about it. So I like to have my gun blend in so that way if I ever have to hide in mud, dirt, bush, or trees, my gun isn't going to stick out like a giant tumor from a tree. That's me, that's what I'm gonna do. So like I said before, even though it's lush and green right now, it will be a desert in about 35 minutes once the sun comes out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna lay this lovely rifle down and we're gonna bust out our FDE. It's a great shoulder workout, really gets the bis and tris going. It's good overall for your mental acuity and your physical health. A little spin. We're gonna start with our base coat. And what I wanna do with the spray can at least is get a nice 50 to 70% coverage of the actual rifle. I'll show you what I mean here. We're gonna start from the tip and just work our way down. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to cover the gun. Doesn't have to fill it all in. We're gonna let this dry for a second, and then we're gonna apply our second coat, covering the whole thing. All right, now we're gonna apply coat 2. Now we're gonna fill in kind of all those spots that we kind of missed to make it one uniform kind of pattern and coat. So I'm gonna go across again, a little bit faster this time. Kind of fill in those spots. Make sure not to glob it, because then it'll run and it'll look gross and you'll be super unhappy with it, unless you're a monster and you like that sort of thing. Don't be afraid to kind of get down there and get the spots that you missed if you want to, those hard to hit reach places, and get it all nice and covered. Now we've got side 1 done and fully covered. Now it's time to flip it over. I've let this sit for a minute so the paint is a little bit dry. It's not perfect yet, but I'm gonna flip it over and get the other side started. And we can get going on the second side, repeating steps 1 and 2, first a light cover and then a heavier coverage. And coat 2, we're gonna fill in those spots that we missed. Again, making sure not to apply it too heavy. Make sure you cover all your rails. It's the most visible part of your entire rifle. Or at least that's what my daddy taught me and his daddy before him. We've got it a nice solid earth tone. It's not black, it's not gonna stick out like a sore thumb. It still is a solid color though, and large objects of a singular color stand out. We need to break up the pattern just a little bit. We're gonna do that with some green. It's what I like, and it's what I'm gonna use today. So follow me down here, and here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna take the green, and I'm gonna make nice big stripes with it. Make sure it's working, and get a nice solid stripe. Maybe one right here, kind of coming through. Back on this side. Good, now that we've got our first kind of layer of stripes down, we're gonna go ahead and flip the rifle over and we're gonna kind of attempt to match it. It doesn't have to match exactly. I think we had one right here. She's coming along. What? People have been dropping bodies in flops for thousands of years. You got a problem with it? All right, now that we've kind of got it complete, almost done, if you want to take the time, you can go through and kind of match it up a little bit more. Like on my Picatinny rail here, right where it crosses over, I can take it and kind of clean that up a little bit. Right here on the sight, pick rail, underneath the stock, grip, kind of give that a little touch up underneath. The gun is your oyster and it is your canvas. Play around with it, have fun, make it how you want it. And the best part about spray paint is if you don't like it, you can just do it again. Like I said before, guys, whatever you want to do is fine. If you want to go the Cerakote route, go the Cerakote route. If that makes you feel better, do it. I personally don't like spending about $450 just to paint my rifle. I like just taking a weekend and maybe, what, 10 bucks in spray paint. And if it wears off, it wears off, and I can fix it at any moment and make sure I like the way it looks. All right, guys, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. It lets me know that you like what I'm putting out and that I should keep doing this stuff. I hope this helped you guys out. If you A, didn't know how to paint your rifle, or were just looking for someone to convince you to paint your rifle. Again, all personal preference, guys. If you like to do it, do it. If not, you do you, boo-boo. I am all for personal choice, and I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.